and welcome. There's an old saying in politics, where you stand depends on where you sit. And this week, Nitish Kumar made a decision to change where, or at least with whom, he sits. A decision that could have momentous consequences for Indian politics. Was this the abandonment of secular liberal principles, a principled stand against corruption, an acknowledgement that the Modi wave is unbeatable, or simply a desire for a coalition partner where there's a smoother working relationship? To debate it tonight on We the People, in studio we have Devesh Thakur of the BJP, Ajay Alok, spokesperson of the JDU, Naval Kishore, spokesperson of the RJD. We have Kalikesh Singh Deo, Lok Sabha MP of the BJD, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Lok Sabha MP of the Congress, Professor Markan Paranjpe from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Mahesh Sharma, columnist with Bloomberg and Business Standard, fellow at ORF and the author of Restart, The Last Chance for the Indian Economy, and Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, journalist, author, and Prime Minister Modi's biographer. I want to start first with Mr. Thakur. Congratulations, you are in power in Bihar, irrespective of the fact that the people did not vote for you, but whether it's Manipur or Goa, BJP is ruling.
Thanks for the congratulations.
You're welcome. We mean it. But is that all that matters?
If you see the context of Bihar, you've seen the misrule of RJD from the last in the last 15 years, from 90 to 2005. But 90 to 2005 must be the darkest period in the history of Bihar, as far as corruption, lawlessness, illiteracy, everything going down the deepest of the levels in Bihar. So anyone who has seen that will welcome anything better than that today. And we were very surprised when respected Nitish Kumar left us and went with the RJD in the previous assembly elections. It was really a surprise. But most of us who knew him were always very sure that this is an alliance, this is a marriage that is not going to last. It's a question of time. And that's happened. It was inevitable. You see, after all, in 2014, as you said, we were not voted for power this time. But that mandate was damaged. Even in 2013 to 14 by those people. They took away Nitish from us, and they supported him, and they formed another government. So that does not stand. That mandate was for us for 5 years. You gave us a damage. We gave the same thing to you, you're in return now. But the difference is, we have done it for the betterment of Bihar. Everyone in Bihar, any sane person in the country will always say that this has been done for the good of Bihar. It will turn out to be a good thing for Bihar.
Mr. Kishore, this is for the betterment of Bihar, says Mr. Thakur.
Not at all. First of all, let me come with his first presupposition that from 1990 to 2005, it was a period in Bihar for the rise of the backwards, poor, SCs and ST, all poor community, which the rise of those people will definitely not like by the Sangh Parivar and BJP, which is the mouthpiece of Sangh Parivar, number one. Number two, it was a period which saw the great rise of huge population. You will see that 90% of the population of Bihar is rural population. So that for them is a black or dark period. Number two, it is the going away from BJP was at the condition that Narendra Modi was going to lead, who was the epitome of communalism. We have been against communal forces right from 1990 when Laluji arrested L.K. Advani. So he disliked and he rejected the politics of L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, Uma Bharti and Kalyan Singh and all. And he also was pretty clear and stood on that front even in 2013. Therefore, we supported from outside. There is a difference between his support and our support. We supported from outside, did not join the government, and we trusted Nitish Kumar that he has come in the face of saving secular forces.
But
Today,
Mr. Kishore,
going back
if you
to
are
him,
so against communalism, surely Laluji, who is a veteran politician, perhaps he could have asked his son to step down, because at least then Nitish now has the moral high ground. You could have at least pulled the mat out from under him.
Not at all. Again,
or does family come first?
Again, you are mistaken. Again, you are mistaken. The charges which they have posed right from the past two and a half decades. The thing which was rejected, a DA case, the case was rejected. He is acquitted. That was the primary case of corruption. This case, which is 120B, in which Lalu has been convicted by lower courts and his appeal on the higher court, this is only in 120B. on which charges there are so many people, dozen of people from BJP, right from Umabati, Kalyan Singh, who is holding the office. Never they have said that they should resign. So on that count, they are on the lower ground. On Nitish Kumar, I have just to make a primary statement that he has been cheater of the mandate, to be very blunt, and he has just done this for the lust of power. Right from 2004 till date, he has never faced any Vidhan Sabha election, which is a popular kind of election. He has always been the member of Bihar Legislative Council.
Which is why you signed up with him in 2015, knowing this fully
well.
well.
And whenever, for the first 3 years, which he is telling as a dark period, he faced people and he was on his own. Nitish Kumar, who has aligned with extreme left to the extreme right in his political history of 2.5 years, he has always told the people that I will be in power by hook or crook. For me, ideology do not matter.
But Mr. Thakur, would you respond to that? From what we're hearing from the RJD, if the CBI and the ED are to be believed, then corruption is only happening in amongst the opposition leaders. No such, I mean, have we gone from being a caged parrot to a roaring lion, but who's wearing blinkers and can only see corruption and act on corruption, follow up amongst the opposition? Give me the example of Bikram Manjitia, Hemanta Sarma, the Vyapam scam. What about Anandiben Patel? The same charges against Lalu, those are the same charges against her family. Is the CBI only acting against the opposition?
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You see, when you have evidence,
Karti Chidambaram, Robert Vadra, TMC.
Hold on. I'll tell you, the JDU leaders have pointed out this case more than 8 years back, not now. All these cases, they were mentioned.
They were with you.
Yes, so what? Yeah. Never mind. So, these were mentioned at those days, that Lalu has done so and so and so and so. Now when the railway hotels were given to a private hotelier by Lalu Yadav, BJP was not in power anywhere. When the private hotelier gave 500 acres worth of land to Lalu in return, BJP was nowhere in the scene. When Misa Bharti acquired land worth hundreds of crores in Delhi, BJP was nowhere in the scene. When Tejasvi Yadav had a bungalow in Friends Colony worth more than 200 crores, BJP was nowhere in the scene. So where is the question of BJP?
It still doesn't answer my question about whether the CBI is acting with equal fervor about Anandiben Patel, same charges against her.
Till the UPA was in power till 2014, I would say, to counter this, that they were suppressing all this. And because Lalu was a very powerful minister, very powerful ally in the UPA, they were suppressing all this.
Not in UPA too.
We should not
so
interfere.
Answer the question.
Right? They were not. They were being suppressed. And after the government went away, the ED, the CBI, the income tax, they found out everything and with evidence.
Okay.
So
caged parrot, but now one-eyed tiger.
That's
right. Where we are. Okay. You agree. Mr. Thakur agrees on that. Let's go across to Ajay Alok. The least Mr. Kumar could have done, since he was listening to his conscience and it was troubling him so much, shouldn't he have just gone in for an election then?
Things changed rapidly. In the last
Within
6 months.
24 hours.
No, within 24 hours. That is for the.
33 minutes.
That is for the media to speculate. Things changed rapidly.
So you're admitting that this was going on behind the scenes?
No. They were troubling for the last 6 months. Lalu Yadav was trying to be extra constitutional authority. If you have seen the TV channels, every day some or other RJD leaders would have come up, propped up, and they used to levy hundreds of accusations against Nitish Kumar. We kept on asking, don't do this, the chief minister has an authority, but to no avail. Well, we kept on tolerating because we wanted to save the alliance at any cost. We were always instructed not to give any bites, anything against Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, which we followed very religiously, to tell you the truth. But when CBI raided Tejasvi, and we started asking a simple question. Since you happen to be number 2 in the government, you happen to be sitting on a constitutional post, please go and explain point-wise point in the public domain, technically, not the political answer what you give. कि ये BJP ने साजिश करके फंसाई है, but the normal people who are sitting there, who are not your supporters, they have the right to get an answer from you because they have voted for you and they have expectation from this Grand Alliance. Now I'll give you another classic example. When this Grand Alliance was formed, it was very much in the common minimum program that no tainted people will be given ticket. And for the first time in the history of RJD, the spokesperson is sitting here, RJD selected its 101 candidates without any criminal background.
Nobody is denying that you had a reason to break the alliance. My question is, why go into bed now with the BJP?
Yes, and that also I'm telling you why go into bed. On an agenda of corruption, the Grand Alliance was broken. Now, when we broke from BJP, we had our certain priorities and we have our certain inhibitions about Prime Minister Modi. We were not sure whether it will be the same BJP or not. In 3 years' time, during his prime ministerial time, there were multiple decisions made by him which we found for the national interest, and we supported it openly. And what happens? Perception changes, and it changes with time. When this government broke, when this government broke and they offered unconditional support, we said fine.
You're absolutely right. In the past, when you broke with the BJP, it was on certain issues, right?
Yeah, those
including construction of the Ram Temple at Ayodhya, abrogation of Article 370.
True.
On that,
Common Civil Code.
Exactly. So where do you stand on that now?
We are there only, and BJP knows this. We had our apprehension when we broke it at 2013 that this BJP is going to be different. We had our apprehension then, but due to his work, our perception changed. And to tell you the truth, he has been the most outstanding Prime Minister ever, and we have been supporting him in all his endeavors.
So everything that Nitish Kumar said about Prime Minister Modi, his silence on the clock,
start counting on who told
all of
about
that
what,
is forgotten. Now he's the most outstanding Prime Minister.
If you start counting about those, then please start counting that what Lalu Prasad said about Nitish Kumar and what Nitish Kumar said about Lalu Prasad has broken all the records in troubling and accusing and lauding Nitish Kumar. Narendra Modi stands nowhere near it. And these type of things keep on happening in Indian politics.
Now, Nitish Kumar has selective principles. So he stands by the principle of fighting against corruption, but he's watered down his principles of fighting against communalism.
You started with a line that in politics it depends, you stand only where you sit. But Nitish Kumar has always stood on firm ground. And we always stand on firm ground, and we will continue to stand on firm ground.
So this is an admission then Mr. Kumar was looking out for his own interests.
No, it's not a matter of own interest. It's a matter of principle. Since the inception of Santa Party and then to Janata Dal United, we have never tolerated a single case of corruption. I mean, our party is a record for that. We have taken
Except for when you went in with the RJD in 2015, when Lalu Yadav was convicted
multiple times.
And the charges against Tejasvi are much weaker.
Lalu Yadav was convicted. He cannot fight elections, and he was not supposed to be on any constitutional post. The alliance was with RJD, not with an individual. And like I said, because of our insistence, for the first time in the history of their electoral, they have not given a single candidate with a criminal background.
All right, we also spoke with Shashi Tharoor of the Congress a short while ago, and I started by quoting a column that he wrote for NDTV. Mr. Tharoor, you wrote a column for NDTV on the 8th of November 2015, where you called this alliance a triumph of opposition unity. You pointed out that Rahul Gandhi personally worked to construct the Mahagathbandhan, and he had found a winning formula, is what you had said, that can be developed and extended all the way to 2019. So what went wrong, Mr. Tharoor?
It's difficult to say, because very clearly everyone was disappointed and surprised that a leader who had spoken so eloquently and even passionately against Mr. Modi, the Sangh, what the BJP stands for, the Hindutva ideology and all of that, suddenly decided to turn around and support the very forces that he has been condemning for 4 years. It's something that, frankly, is not easy for anyone to rationally explain, other than, of course, through the cynical explanation that power was ultimately the glue that wanted to hold him to this particular choice. Look, we are obviously not happy that the Mahagathbandhan, which was a triumph and which I think has given Bihar reasonably good governance for 2 years, is not to continue. But I don't think it moves the principle of opposition unity in any negative direction. This is one party which frankly only had a credible presence in one state that has moved away. And while we will certainly miss that party and its supporters, I think that the principle of opposition unity will see us allying with many other opposition parties in other states in the next year.
And who will be the face of this opposition unity?
Well, that is something that the uniting parties will have to decide for themselves. As far as the Congress party is concerned, I think it's quite clear that we expect our leadership to be Rahul Gandhi, but that doesn't mean that Rahul Gandhi is likely necessarily to insist on being the only leader. There will certainly be figures from opposition parties who will rightfully have an important place in any new Mahagathbandhan.
Well, you mentioned Rahul Gandhi, but what does this say about the leadership of the Congress today? Whether it's Goa to Manipur, you were the single largest party, but you failed to form the government there. You were slow to move on nominating Meera Kumar's name for the post of president. Veteran leaders, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, SM Krishna, Sankar Singh Waghela, 6 Gujarat Congress MLAs exiting the party. Is this not a referendum on Rahul Gandhi's leadership?
In each of these cases, there is an explanation possible. and I'm not sure we should be spending too much time going into that level of detail. I mean, just to take Gujarat as an example, Mr. Waghela clearly had a faction within the party that was loyal to him, and when with his own reasons he decided to actually leave the party, his followers were bound to leave with him. And I think it's clear, in fact, one of the followers is related to him by marriage. So these things happen. There are factions, sadly, in all parties and in all kinds of politics. And when times are tough, that's when the factions start heading off in their own personally interested directions.
But if this was so obvious, Mr. Tharoor, shouldn't the Congress have kept this in mind, this Mr. Waghela's family connections, etc., before you parted ways with him?
Look, there are difficult issues that any leadership of a political party has to face. One, for example, is that if you've given a leader a particular set of opportunities, the time comes to try another leader. Now, if the first leader says, I want yet another opportunity and I'll walk out if I don't get it, you have to make a call. Is that fair? Is that reasonable? Is that justified? Or are you going to say, look, he's lost twice, he's going to lose again. I don't want to take that risk, let me try somebody else. I mean, these are tough calls that leaders of organizations are making all the time in the business world and in the political world. And I guess that in this particular instance, Mr. Waghela walked away, and you are all very concerned about it and say that it reflects something negative about the leadership. But one could turn around and say the leadership took a hard call, a tough call, that the time had come for a different kind of leader in the state than Mr. Waghela. And if the price to be paid for that was that Mr. Waghela would walk out, then I'm afraid that's a price the party would have to live with. Otherwise, you would be in a position where you're constantly enthralled to a local leader who gets to call the shots.
Mr. Tharoor, I'm confused. Are you talking about Mr. Waghela or Rahul Gandhi when you say the time has come for a different kind of leader? Because many would say he's been getting too many chances.
We have lost an election rather badly in 2014, and the BJP appears to be enjoying an extended honeymoon, linked to the fact that they also have certain ways of conducting their politics, which may not perhaps be exactly what the voters wanted, but they've got more governments than they were voted into, so that suggests that their ways are succeeding from their point of view. Will it last forever? When the next general elections come up, will people only be impressed by their ability at forming governments, or will people say, where are the jobs we were promised? Where is the economic growth we were promised? Where are our achhe din? And when they find that the answers are not so good, perhaps the BJP will find it a little more difficult to form governments than they're finding it right now, when they can always say they haven't been in power long enough to deliver on their promises.
But Mr. Tharoor, for a democracy to actually work the way it should, the way you're describing it, it requires a strong opposition. And the Congress, is it not failing in the one sole duty that it has, the sole responsibility it has today, which is in putting up a strong opposition to this government?
Well, you know, I've heard this criticism before, and I'm not quite sure what exactly that strong opposition is supposed to be. We are raising issues in Parliament. We are indeed raising issues on the street as well. We have conducted a number of effective interventions on issues that are burning issues in the country, from the farmers' agitation in Mandsaur to the fishermen's troubles in Kerala. The Congress has been out there. When the disastrous demonetization was conducted, the Congress party conducted dharnas in every single major capital in this country, and both wrote and spoke to the kind of audience that understands these numbers, why the demonetization was actually a bad decision. So in other words, we have been out there in the forefront, whether it's in the two houses of Parliament or in the public space, on social media, in the mainstream media, and on the streets. What more can you ask an opposition to do? If you're going to judge the strength or the determination or the commitment of the opposition by how many elections it is able to win in the short term, then I think you're being unfair. Yes, the BJP won in 2014. Yes, it's controlling a lot of state governments today. As long as we are there to stand up for an alternative vision of how India should be, I don't believe they're going to keep winning. I think there are a lot of people who voted for them last time in the general elections who are embarrassed by the Gaurakshaks and the mob lynchings, who are unhappy with the kind of violence and bigotry that's been unleashed and condoned by this government. And therefore, I believe that a lot of people are looking for an alternative, and we are going to provide them one.